Hello everyone, welcome to today's segment of What is Love, where we interview different families across America on various topics. I'm your host, Diara Lawrence. Today's family is the Allums family, a family full of love as you can see. We interviewed a few of their family members about the different disparities facing Black households and families across America, as well as the ones they've also faced. Let's see what they had to say. This first young lady knows what it's like to be a teen mom. Let's see what she has to say. What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. All right. Can you tell me your name, please?
Janae.
Janae.
Mary.
All right. And how old are you?
25.
25. And who are you married to?
Trevante Jenkins.
How long have y'all been married?
It'll be 5 years in March.
All right. And do y'all have any children?
We have one son, Tyler.
Tyler, all right. And how old were you when you had Tyler?
I was 17, going on 18.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, so most couples today say they are married because they love their spouse. What do you think love is?
I think love is somebody that you want to be committed to. Somebody that you can go on and live life with.
Okay. So, what do you take?
I wasn't finished. Somebody that you can argue with and bounce back with every day. No matter what. Somebody that you can cuddle with.
All right. So, what do you think it takes to have a successful or stable marriage?
I think it takes love, commitment, and a couple of other things.
Okay. Well, if you could put it in this way, what do you think are the keys to a happy marriage?
Communication.
Communication, okay. So, seeing how you were a teen parent at one point, what do you think about single parenthood, especially in Black communities?
I think it's a negative.
Negative, can you extrapolate on that?
I think it shouldn't be fair. It's not fair. But I mean, it happens.
Okay, and how
I think
is
men
that?
are sorry.
Okay, and how was it for you, like, having to be a single parent?
Well, I think I really got a good end of the stick because my mother was there for me, my sister was there for me, my baby father's parents were there for me, and I also had my now husband had a good boyfriend at the time. And everybody, my family was all there for me. So I really didn't have a bad end of the stick, but I know what it is for people to go through that. You know, it's not fair. Even though everybody was there for me, I was still upset that he left me alone with the child.
Okay. And so you and your now husband, Trevante, when y'all started living together, were y'all married?
No.
Okay, so a lot of people, especially older people or religious people, don't agree on cohabitation, as in two non-married people living together. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think it leads to a more successful or bad marriage in the long run?
Well, now that we have done it, I think some people should wait before they move into with each other, you know, some years or whatever. Our parents told us that we actually should wait before we get married. Sometimes I think we did do it too fast, but at the same time, who cares? We done it now, you know?
All right. And now to a kind of more controversial topic. So seeing as you and Trevante have a child together, is it true that the child is not his biological child?
I don't think that's any of your business.
I mean, it has to be real. That was good though.
Yes, it's true.
Okay, so some people would almost say that TJ is his illegitimate child. What are your thoughts on that, especially if y'all were to have another child?
I would think it's the same way like how my stepfather took care of me while my dad was in Alabama, but he's still a good father.
Okay.
I love them both.
So, as we're talking about some of the experiences in the Black communities, especially with single parenthood, absentee parents, maybe even drugs, broken households, or toxic marriages,
Excuse me.
some of these problems, were they present when you were growing up in your parents?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, my mother's not here, so I guess I should. Well, when I was a child, my stepdad used to live with us. Then my mother got a divorce when I was about 15 years old. That put a toll on me and my sister a lot. You know. But we got another stepfather named Mr. Kenny. He's a good man. We love him.
All right, so what do you think maybe was the cause of that divorce?
Well, me and my sister really never found out. You know, we just hear little bits and pieces of the story. So I heard some of it from my father, but heck, we never get the truth from my mother. So we can just only hear what my dad said. And that's just the end of that.
Okay, and with the bigger picture, what do you think are some of the causes for the problems plaguing the Black community?
Communication. Everybody needs to talk.
And do you think that applies to every problem, such as the drug abuse, single parenthood, the absentee parents, the toxic or broken and failed marriages?
Yes.
Okay.
People need people to talk to.
And do you feel that some of these problems could be caused by moral or religious dilemmas?
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that?
I know my mother at one point said she didn't believe in counseling and therapists. But why? What's wrong with talking to somebody? Why hold on everything?
Do you think if your parents would have gotten counseling, they would have stayed together?
Maybe.
Okay. So now as we've kind of went through some of these things the Black community deals with, what do you think needs to be done to solve these problems in our marriages, in our households? What do we as the Black community need to do to help each other?
We need to sit down with each other and figure out what the problem is and talk about it without arguing and raising our voices.
Why do you think
and
that
trying to be in
happens?
control. Because somebody's always trying to be in control.
So now that we've gone through some of the social problems in the Black community, and we've even gone through little bits of your life, what do you think love is now? Do you still think it's the same thing, or do you have a different definition for it?
I believe it's the same thing. Communication is key. Love is doing something for somebody and not expecting it back. Love is just caring. Love is kind. Love is peace.
All right, and could we maybe see the child of yours?
Isn't that cute?
This next young man was raised by a teen mom. Let's hear his thoughts.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
So, can you please state your name for us?
My name is Trevante Jenkins.
And how old are you?
30.
30. All right, and can you tell me who you're married to?
Janae Jenkins.
Janae Jenkins. All right, do you two have any children together?
Yes. Tyler Marion.
How old is he?
He's
7.
7.
Not Tyler Mary, Tyler
Alright.
Jaden Marion.
And how long have you two been married?
4 years.
4 years. All right.
And my birthday, February 3rd, turns 15.
As we all know, marriage can be a difficult thing. So, most couples say that they are married because they love their spouse. What do you think love is?
Love for true. Always have your wife together. Do not break up her because you will hurt her feelings.
Okay.
I like that, Tyler.
All right. And what do you think, Mr. Jenkins?
I think love
is like a true thing.
Yep, true love is everything. It's
Yeah.
when they take your breath away, when
Yeah.
all you do is think about them.
Yeah, you think them pretty and hot and stuff.
Yeah, and make sure that their well-being is good. Everything. I think love is everything.
Awesome. All right, so with that definition of love for yourself, what do you think it takes to have a successful marriage or a stable marriage?
Communication, being open, and having understanding.
Okay.
The wife is good, always pretty. You do not do nothing mean. She pretty and stuff.
Okay.
The wife in Milne, you have to do stuff for her. Every time she say something, you have to do stuff for her. Okay.
All right. And if you could put it this way, what would you say are the keys to a happy relationship or a happy marriage?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, a marriage, because you do a lot of good marriage, because it's good stuff. You be nice to your wife, your loving wife, all this stuff. Listen to your girl. Now, Tyler Flash, that's my username on YouTube.
Thank you, Tyler. And what about you, Mr. Jenkins?
What was the question again?
If you could put it this way, what do you think are the keys to a happy relationship or a happy marriage?
It's a good
The
marriage.
keys to a happy marriage.
But a key to a happy marriage is good because you have good relationships.
How you know you ain't never even been married?
Because I have a girlfriend.
But you never been married.
I'm married to a girl for. I've been her wife. So you shut up. So a good relationship with girls, you have to be like, it's good a relationship. Because you have to do it. Because the marriage is a true thing what God made. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Thank you, Mr. Marion. And what about you, Mr. Jenkins?
First of all, I want to apologize for the interruption that we had, that I had to smack Tyler Merriam for the disrespect that I was shown. We'll be right back.
As you can see, the young man Tyler had his own opinions, but Mr. Jenkins has more to say.
All right, Mr. Jenkins, what do you think are the keys to a successful marriage?
The keys to a successful marriage
Or a happy marriage?
or a happy marriage. Just listening to one another and continue to grow. That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't really know, because I'm still going through it.
And
So-
would you say that maybe your age reflects that? Reflects you and what you define as love, and maybe even what you define as a successful relationship, because you are so young and you're continuing to grow together?
No, not necessarily. I think that we all need to find our love language. We were all shown love through our parents, and if that's not the right way to show love, then it's up to all of us to find our own love language and make ourselves happy, and everybody will be happy.
What do you think your love language is?
That's a great question. I plead the fifth.
Interesting. All right. So let's move on to a different topic. I know that when you married Janae, she had a child, and so she had to go through being a single parent for a while, a teen parent.
And seizures.
And for some people would see that as kind of an illegitimate thing. So what do you think about cohabitation, single parenthood, and maybe even illegitimacy in our Black communities?
I think that we're all responsible for each other.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Cause I agree with him. Cause I know he's gonna say the true humility of love.
As a community,
Of love.
we should come together for the greater good of all of us.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be
no mean.
It shouldn't be
nice to your
no
wife.
question
Like that.
as to what you should be doing when it comes to community and love and just having general respect for people. I mean, that's all it really is the golden rule is treat people the way you want to be treated. So, I mean, if everybody just follow that one little simple little rule, you know, we'll all just be better.
Okay. So I do understand that when you and Janae moved in together, you weren't married, correct?
We weren't married?
You were not married.
Y'all was girlfriend and boyfriend.
We were not married, no.
Y'all was
Alright.
girlfriend and boyfriend.
So,
but
what
then
do you
they
think
got
about,
back together and be
what do
husband
you
and wife.
think about cohabitation outside of marriage? From a lot of perspectives, some people view it as something that's not healthy and something that in the long term wouldn't work out even after marriage. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's very healthy to cohabitate with whoever you're going to potentially marry, because if you can't live with them while you're not married, then you're definitely not going to be able to do it while you're married.
Interesting. What do you think about single parenthood, seeing as you married someone who was at one point a single parent?
I think single parenthood is ridiculous. That child has two parents, and those parents should be there and handle their responsibility.
Okay. And now we're going to dive into something a little bit controversial. So we know that you two are the parents of Tyler Marion, and you aren't his biological father. So some people would say that he's your illegitimate son. If you and Janae were to have another child, what are your thoughts on that? And illegitimacy in Black and African American communities and households?
I think illegitimacy, again, is crazy, the idea of it. Yes, he was not biologically mine, but he is ultimately my responsibility at the end of the day, since he's living under my household. So again, all children are our responsibility. No matter if they're yours or not yours, they're just children, and they can't take care of themselves. So.
Okay. All right. So what do you think about the problems that we're seeing in Black communities now with single parenthood, drugs, broken households, broken marriages, or toxic relationships, and seeing how that's happening today? Is that something that was happening when you were growing up?
I'm sure it was. I just didn't know it or wasn't aware of it. I was a child. And I was growing up with my parent. My parent was a teenager, so we grew up together.
So your mother was a teen mom as well?
That's correct.
How do you think your mother being a teen mom and being a kid herself in a way and having to raise another child has reflected on you as you grew up and who you are now as a 30-year-old man?
We grew up together, so we can't, growing up, there were some things that I thought could be different, but at the end of the day, it couldn't, because your parents are only as good as they are in that moment, and they always want the best for you, so that's how I see it. Everything she did was for the greater good for me.
That's nice. All right. And as far as some of these problems that even you have experienced that we're seeing in the Black community, what do you think are the causes of these problems?
The causes are the things that we pass down from generation to generation. We never deal with anything or talk about it. We think, we got to be so strong to hold it in and move past it, and we don't deal with it and talk about it. I think we should talk more.
And why do you think the Black community doesn't talk about a lot of their problems? Do you think it's because of maybe some type of moral compass, or even maybe related to religious beliefs? Or what do you think about that?
I think it's built around the idea that we just got to be strong and we always going to move past adversity or anything that keeps us down. I don't know. We just have a resilience about ourselves. I mean, we can always bounce back from anything.
At least that's what
We
they
just
say.
can't work together. If we all just work together, it'll be different.
All right, so leading into another question with black people needing to work together, what do you think that black people in America as a race need to do to solve some of the problems that we're seeing our families and our marriages facing? What do we need to do to not have broken homes, not have single parents, not have toxic marriages or relationships?
Again, I think we just need to talk about it. I don't think we should turn blind eyes to things, even if we see, our family members cheating or, just doing anything outside of what you're supposed to be doing. I think you should be held accountable all the time. And that's it.
Okay. And one last question. Do you think that religion maybe plays a factor in some of the social problems in our communities?
I think religion is very personal. We all have our own individual relationship with God, and you should get that resolved first above all things.
Okay. And now, after going through this interview, looking at these questions, I want to ask you again, what do you think love is? Has your perception of it changed as you've thought about some memories, thought about some different things in life, or is it still the same?
Love is everything. It is the strongest emotion that you will ever feel. And it's something that we all want and long for, is love. So, I love you all.
This next gentleman not only knows what it means to marry the woman, but also her children. Let's see what he has to say.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Can you tell me your name, please?
You know my name, child. Kenneth Adams,
All right, and how old are you?
52 years old.
And who are you married to?
Diara Adams,
And how many children do you two have?
3.
All right, Mr. Adams. So, how long have y'all been married?
6 years.
6 years. All right. So most couples say they are married because they love their spouse. What do you think love is?
Communication. You just asked me what is love. I said it's communication.
What do you mean by communication?
You have to communicate what you feel to the other person to let them know. Sometimes it don't get communicated physically, so depending on how long you've been with that person, it might be a physical action.
Okay. And what do you think it takes to have a successful or stable marriage?
In order to do that, a person got to be flexible. And then saying that, you have to give to get.
Okay. So now I kind of want to ask this in a different way. What do you think are the keys to a happy marriage?
Like I just said, you have to give to get. You have to give yourself openly. You might do some things you don't want to do to please that other person. So, yeah. Like, go into, opera or something like that. You might not be an opera fan, but I'm just saying it varies in the person.
Okay. So, from my understanding, you and Tia have been married 6 years, and you have 3 children together. Are all 3 of those children all of your children, or were any brought to the marriage?
No, none of mine. I don't claim nothing. Yeah. 2 of them are what they consider step, and then the youngest one is my biological.
Okay, and how old are all of your children?
All of them act 12.
But how old are they?
Yeah, I have one 25, one 18, one 8.
All right. And which one is your biological child?
The 8-year-old.
Okay. So, seeing as you're 52, a lot of people would consider it, different for a 52-year-old man to have an 8-year-old child. And a lot of people, well, before we go into that, how old was your child when you and Tiara got married?
She was just born.
Just born, all right.
She was basically going on 1 year old when we jumped the broom.
Okay, so before you became married with Tiara, what was it like being an older father and having basically a newborn?
Fun as hell.
And what was that like going into a marriage with someone who had 2 kids?
Like I said, people have to be flexible. That's a lot for her to take on. Even though she had her own kids, that's not her kid.
Okay. So, what are your thoughts on single parenthood? Seeing as, well, for maybe a little bit of time, you co-parented or were a single father, and you married someone who was also co-parenting or a single mother. What are your thoughts on that?
If you got a support system, it'll be fine. But that's the matter. It's just a matter who you got around you when the situation happens. Some people I've seen that doesn't have a support system have had very, very hard times adapting, and the situation ended up turning in a bad way. They probably gave their child up for adoption or just left the child because they couldn't handle the stress of that and didn't have nobody, no outlet.
Okay. And when you and Tiara moved in together, were you 2 already married?
Nah, we was shacking.
All right. So, what are your thoughts? Well, what was it like cohabitating and having 3 kids together? What was that like before marriage? Is it the same, or were maybe there's some slight differences?
Crowded as hell, noise as hell. I'm telling you, what do you not? I'm telling you, you ain't lived with nobody before. I'm just saying, you're in. I'm like, come on.
What are your thoughts on cohabitation? Some people would think that as an older man, you might have different thoughts. But when you cohabitated, you weren't what a lot of people
what my
are.
intentions were.
All right. So a lot of maybe older people might have problems with 2 people taking on another's child. What are your thoughts on illegitimacy? Do you see that as something real?
I think it's a stupid ass word.
Where can you extrapolate on that for me?
So the person you dealing with illegitimate too? I'm just saying, y'all, you bringing the word to me, I'm bringing it back to you, but it's a stupid word, a statement that shouldn't be said. If you're with the person, you're with the person and what they carry.
All right. So now that we've talked about some problems that are in the Black community, single households, broken marriages, toxic relationships, maybe even, were there problems like these or even in your own personal life while you were growing up with your own parents?
No, my mama raised me, so I ain't had no problem. Daddy was there, but anyway, we were talking about another joke. He was in and out. So
All
I
right,
saw him when I
so
saw him.
seeing as yourself was raised by a single parent, what was that like, and do you think that affected who you are now?
Yeah, it affected. Yes, it affected who I am. And looking back on it now, my mom did the best of what she could do with what she had. See how you have children that be noisy and make noises during the interview? I'm just saying that's what we do. You adapt to what your children do.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts on what could be the cause of these problems in the Black community?
I ain't got it really now, but wherever my belt is, that's what the problem is. Ain't nobody getting their ass whooped.
Some parents in today's culture don't believe in whooping. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's why you got them jokers in jail now and people walking around here killing each other for no reason at a Walmart.
All right. And some of these problems, like you just stated, do you think they could be connected to moral conflicts in people or even religious conflicts?
Again, like I said, they're not disciplining their children. So if you're not being disciplined, you're not getting taught what a morale is, or no core to respect an elder, or anything. No kind of boundaries are set for that child. So how is a child gonna grow up to respect boundaries if he never been placed in one?
Thank you for that. All right. Seeing these problems in the Black community, what do you think that we as Black people need to do to solve them? What do we need to do to help each other and to stop all of these things that are happening?
Well, we gotta go back to raising your child as a village, because that is not gonna happen anyway. So I'm not gonna even say that statement. I'll let that statement go. Everybody just gotta communicate and try to help each other. That's simple as plain.
Why do you think people don't want to help raise children as a village anymore?
Hell, you can't even talk to your neighbor.
Why is that?
They don't like talking to each other, especially in the Black community. You can stay beside somebody for 10 years and never know who their first name is. They'll pass you high and by before they'll say their name. That's all they'll say. But as far as a white person in the neighborhood, they gonna at least come to your door, announce their name, their family name, everything about them. You might not speak to them again, but you do know their names.
What do you think are some of those differences living in a white and a Black community, as far as even going as far as to say raising the child through a village?
More accessibility for a child. You got more access and readily factors. More, it's like my daughter, when she broke her nose playing basketball, it was more tools provided for her during this that she didn't know of, but me and her mother knew of, because they was calling us from the school to let us know, well, y'all ain't got to do this, go do this. Take her up there to this. Now, if I've been in the Black community, we'd just been on our own. We've been basically doing it for ourselves, but there's a difference in being in the white neighborhood than the Black neighborhood.
All right. So now that we've gone through some of these problems, even little bits of your own life, what do you think love is now? Is it still the same for you?
Yeah, still the same, just time. And then making sure, first of all, maybe I should have said, if you ain't happy, you can't make nobody else happy. So that's gonna be the first thing you need to do. Find what makes yourself happy, then you can make the next person happy.
Do you think you're happy?
Hell no, I got children running around here. I ain't got fucking, excuse me, I ain't got no, yeah, I'm living. So that's what I'm enjoying that. I'm good. I'm just playing big head.
All right. Thank you so much.
This next woman served 20 plus years in the Navy. Let's see how it's affected her life.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Can you tell me your name, please?
Diara Allen,
All right. How old are you?
47.
Are you married?
Yes.
Who are you married to?
Kenneth Adams.
All right. And do y'all have any children together?
No.
Do you have any children at all, whether separate or anything?
Yes.
How many?
3 girls.
3 girls. How many are yours and how many are his?
2 are mine and 1 is his.
All right. The 2 that are yours, were they from a previous relationship or previous marriage?
Previous marriage and previous relationship.
Okay. How long was that relationship?
Which one?
The one that was before for your 2 girls.
My oldest daughter, that was 25 years ago. And my youngest daughter, that was 13 years ago.
Okay. And how long were you married to your previous husband?
13 years.
All right. So you've been in 2 marriages and 1 currently. Most couples say that they are married because they love their spouse. What do you think love is?
Love is trust and understanding and able to communicate and come to one accord when things get difficult.
Okay. What do you think it takes to have a successful marriage?
Honesty.
Okay. I want to ask in a different way. What do you think are the keys to a happy marriage?
The keys to a happy marriage is being honest, able to talk everything out and not to go to bed angry.
Okay. So as we talk about marriage and some of the different problems in the Black community, like single parenthood, broken homes, toxic marriages and relationships, I want to ask your thoughts about some of these things, like cohabitation. In either of your marriages or in a previous relationship, did you ever live with your significant other and you weren't married?
Yes.
All right. And do you think that led to a more successful marriage, or what are your thoughts about cohabitation?
I think it led to a more successful marriage.
And do you think that for other couples that it's okay to cohabitate before marriage?
Yes, because that's the way you get the chance to know the person for who they really are.
Okay. And as far as single parenthood, were you ever a single parent at one point?
I was.
All right. And how old were you?
22.
22. So how was that being a single parent at 22?
I wouldn't say it was difficult because I had, my family, and fortunately she had a father that his family and him actually helped out, and I also had my military family.
So you're in the military?
Yes.
How long were you in the military?
26 years.
26 years. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
All right. So as you said you were in the military, how do you feel being in the military has affected who you are as a Black woman?
As a Black woman, it opened my eyes to a lot of things. I helped make some changes that they didn't have before, for Black females in the military.
Okay. How do you feel being in the military has maybe affected your marriages?
My first marriage, I would say in the beginning it was fine, but once I decided that I was going to take a different route, that's when it became difficult.
Okay. Do you feel like being in the military was difficult as far as being a mother? And how do you feel like the two went together?
Sometimes it was and sometimes it wasn't. I would say the hardest part was, leaving my kids behind and missing birthdays and holidays.
Okay. So now that we've talked about some different problems in the Black community, some of which you've maybe even experienced, do you feel like these are problems that happened when you were growing up with your own parents and your own family?
No, not really. I lost my mother at an early age, so I was raised by my grandparents who had been married for like 68 years. So I grew up with both parents in the household.
Okay. Well, for the problems that do happen, What do you feel are the causes of these problems?
I feel like it's the community. You don't have neighbors like you used to that will help, raise kids. They say it takes a village, and we don't have villages like we used to back then when I was growing up.
Okay. And do you feel like some of these problems are caused by moral or religious dilemmas, possibly?
No, I just think that this new generation is just different. Like they don't care about themselves or anything else, or consequences that comes with actions.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because the parents don't hold them accountable. When we were growing up, our parents held us accountable, our neighbors held us accountable. Now you can't say anybody's somebody's child. You may get beat up or your brains blown out.
So looking at some of these problems, what do you think that we as Black people need to do to stop these problems in our communities? What do we need to do to fix our marriages and fix our houses?
For one, we need to be able to communicate. Black families don't know how to communicate. A lot of them, they just hold grudges and keep it moving or yell and scream, and they only come together for funerals. So communication is a very big problem in Black communities and Black families.
And why do you think it's so hard for Black people to communicate?
Because they weren't taught how to. Because in their families they weren't taught. It's like a generational curse.
All right, Mrs. Adams. So now that we've went through some of these questions and even some of the bits of your life, what do you think love is now? Do you still have the same feelings about it, or you think it's something different?
I still have the same feelings about it. That is, communication, being able to trust each other and being able to, talk things out and not go to bed angry. My grandparents never went to bed angry at each other.
All right, Ms. Adams. Thank you.
This next woman knows firsthand what it means to be a single mother. Let's hear from her.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
All right. What is your name for me, please?
My name is Chandra.
All right. And how old are you?
55.
All right. And are you married or anything?
No.
All right. So, have you ever been married or?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So, most couples say that they are married because they love their spouse. What do you think love is?
Well, to me, love is, I think love is peace, love is kind, and love is patient.
All right. So, seeing as you were married at one point, what do you think it takes to have a successful marriage?
Communication.
Okay.
Honesty.
All right. And I'm kind of asking this in a different way. What do you think are the keys to a happy relationship or marriage?
Once again, I would say communication, loyalty, honesty, doing things together, including each other. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So some of the different problems in the Black community is single parenthood, children out of wedlock, maybe even broken households, broken marriages, and whatnot. What are your thoughts on something like cohabitation, which is in two non-married people living together? And do you think living together before you're married leads to a more successful marriage, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think if two people are going to live together as a couple, I think that they should be married. And to me, that would be, first of all, is what God would want. You're honoring God when you do that. So I think, therefore, the unity would be blessed, and things would be better. The household, you lead by example. If you have children and they're in a two-parent home and they know that their parents are married, you can start with morals and principles. You set morals and principles. So I think that, but to me, the reason why we have so many broken homes in the Black community, because you have a lot of single moms, a lot of children don't know their fathers. You got these you got the little boys that don't have father figures, so they go to the streets and they look for fathers out in the street. And then they start getting into gangs, and then they think that the gang members are their family, and that's where it all starts at. That's where it generates from.
All right. And as far as single parenthood, were you ever a single parent yourself?
Yes, I was. I was a single mom. I had 4 children.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And how was that, having to be a single mom and raising 4 children?
Well, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard, but it was doable. I was determined, for my children. So I was willing to do what I had to do. Sometimes I had to work 2 jobs. And it was hard. Yeah.
Okay. And so now that we've kind of talked about some of these problems plaguing the Black community, were these problems that were present in when you were growing up, or even in your own family?
Oh, yeah. It was. It was very prevalent when I was growing up.
Okay. What do you think could be some of the reasons for these problems that we're seeing in the Black community?
Once again, I would say single parents, having just one person in the household. Single moms, a lot of the young males don't have father figures, and they go to the streets, and then they join gangs. They feel like being in a gang, that's family. And once again, I think all in all, it's from just being in a single parent home. And it starts with a lot of our young Black males. They don't have a father figure. They don't have anyone to tell them and to teach them and guide them and to tell them, to give them the right, healthy advice.
Okay. And do you think that some of these problems are caused by moral conflicts or even religious conflicts?
Moral conflicts, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we've went through some more of these problems, what do you think that we as Black people need to do to stop these problems and to help each other in the Black community?
Well, I think we need to educate our children. We need to set morals and principles. We need to pray together in our community. We need to have neighborhood community meetings and discuss what's going on in our neighborhoods and try to see what we can do to eliminate a lot of the violence. I think that would be a step.
All right. So now that I've asked you a few questions and we've even talked about your own life a little bit, I want to ask you again, what do you think love is? Do you still think it's the same, or do you have a different definition now?
Oh, I think it's the same definition. Love, patience, tolerance, time.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And finally, a gift for us, we get to hear from an elder in the family by the name of Uncle Dudubike. Uncle Dudubike has seen many of these disparities in his family, and he has much to say.
All right, Uncle Dudubike. What do you think is love?
What I think about love? When somebody loves you, love them back. They don't, Simple as that. She don't want you. Bye-bye, baby. Find you somebody else. Well, I feel about it.
Okay. What do you think makes a marriage successful?
What make a marriage successful?
Yes.
Y'all love each other, everything. Y'all do everything together, Ain't be no cheating in the game.
Okay. What do you think about 2 people living together who aren't married?
Well, if they want to do that, I guess that's fine with me. A lot of people live together 10, 15 years. They call it common law marriage. They be together that long. You know, and they got married. They call that common law. The other one, they say they already married. They been together that long, 10 or 15 years. Yep.
Okay. What do you think about single parenthood, especially, you know, with black people? You know, a lot of us are single parents. What do you think about that?
Well, hold on, single parent. Raise a kid. Don't have to be no daddy there. Women can raise a kid. The daddy ain't no good. Let him go. If you don't want to take care of the kids and everything, she want to buy a child support, get that child support money. Well, I thought about it. But I didn't have to do nothing like that, which I had 5 wives, and, you know.
5 wives?
5, they gone.
Wow.
Yep.
How was your different experiences with all different
They
all
were
five?
all right till you got one tripping, another left, went to New York, and the other had a bunch of babies and everything. She come back. I was still here in Birmingham. And she come back, and she went up there and got pregnant for somebody else. I said, nope, that's it. Oh, that ain't none of mine. I said, I got mine here with me. So she came back to Birmingham and stole the baby and went back to New York. Well, they had a house full of babies and everything. So she passed away. Then I had one just passed away this year. After me and her broke up, she got a divorce because she wanted to go the other way. I never thought she would, turn out to be gay, or a gay woman. Was that what she did? I didn't argue, I didn't fight. She paid for the divorce. Good. I'm living happily ever after. Thank the good Lord, she gone. I thank the good Lord let me live to be here for 7, 8 years.
Amen.
You know, they left me here for a reason, I guess,
To be with your family.
All right.
Cool. So, in black communities, there's a lot of, broken households and things like that, single parenthood and stuff. So, some of these things that are happening today, were they happening when you were growing up with your own parents?
What? About breaking up and everything like that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a whole lot of that. Because Daddy, he do what this is. He come home, get drunk on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He would get ready to clown. He would put us all out the house on Friday night with a shotgun and stuff. So we left. But as soon as he gets sober, here he come. Come on, baby, let's go back home, So she stayed with him over 50-something years, She got tired of hitting on him. She put that buyout on him for dead. And he changed. He got baptized. He got on a deacon bowl. Stopped smoking. Stopped drinking. Sure did. It'd be a change. Now these women get some of these men. They want to beat on and jump on and everything, but these women got tired of it. They ain't going for that no more. They put them in the ground. They putting that thump on them. See? Their leg ain't gonna back up.
You better tell them.
I'm telling you.
What advice would you give young black men now to change now? What would you change?
If you got a nice woman, nice wife and everything, y'all make y'all problem out and everything, Y'all might raise hell each other next day like lovey-dovey. You might tell you, where you going? I'm going out of the board. No, you ain't. Okay. You gonna soon tell me I'm going in now. Then you come back, then it's hard. You go out there, you come back, and she know that at her funeral, and that she wear, you got somebody else funeral, it's still gonna be some hair red. See, don't be talking about going on strip club and all like that, spending your money. Put that money in the house.
Yeah.
Yep.
You went to a lot of strip clubs?
Ain't never been there. I had to go out loud and everything, drink, and I could come back home. I just go out, A girl, Deborah, I know she had these whiskey sips and everything. We buy a ticket from her. Go with me, her daddy, and another one of my partner. We go there and drink, have a nice time, come on back home. That's all it was. No, I never did go to no strip clubs and then after I stopped going there, I get my whiskey and beer, sit at home on the front porch, sit there and drink, play my blues. I get tired, get my ass go in the house, go to bed, go to sleep. Get up and cook next day or something. And I take care of him. I start cooking for him and Pookie both. You know, put Pookie plate in there, put his plate in the microwave, you know. Then Pookie, he run all night, in and out. You see him going in and out of the fridge there all night. A gallon of milk, it don't be no time. You drink all the milk up, all the orange juice up. Hey, man, there's a alarm over there. Why don't you go out and cut some grass, do something? No, he come home, want to be clean, wash the shirts and pants, hang them all over the banners and everything, get the iron, get clean, run around the corner nigga, which don't mean it no good. See?
This is a grown man.
Yeah. I told him, I said, keep on riding that snouting that shit up there. No, you're going to get the bad shit one day. He ever told me almost OD once. He still won't leave it alone. But like I said, he grown, he need a job and everything. And they stayed over there in the house, you know, because the house paid for everything. I was paying the light bill and all that, you know. I'll go to the store, spend $100, maybe $120 every third of the month to see that we have no food in the house. Roman knew everything. He see him, he don't want to wash no dishes. I got tired of that. I said, you use that? I said, kitchen clean. I go in there, 3 or 4 bowls in the same glass and everything. I left it alone. I got tired of arguing with him. I go to the bedroom one night. I had $350 bills in my shoes. He went there, I went to the bedroom. I come back in there, when the 50 go. I know he got it. He gone for 2 days. I know he got it. Go and smoke that stuff. Start up his nose. I didn't beat him up on that. I just told him, you know you did wrong, buddy. That was not your money. I just gave him money, he was buying a cigarette. So I said, will you give me? You can't get another penny from me, and I meant it. I had a CD player in the house. I know where I put it up in the corner. I go back in there and look for it. He don't tuck it out the house, sold it. I said, you just doing too much around here, man, you know. You're a grown man, say you're 40-something years old, you need a job. But still won't do the same thing, you know. On cuss his sister out, good as she been to him and everything, because she was getting the money, getting the food and everything else. Because she wouldn't give him nothing for his birthday. They gonna, because I don't want blame, I wouldn't give him nothing to eat neither.
Do you think the family would gather as much as they do now without her? Let's say if she never moved back to Birmingham, would the family still gather?
I guess they will, you know, because before my dear and daddy died and everything, when I come back home, I came back home and take care of my sister all week. But next thing I know, they had them stuck her in my home. Because I was oversee her check and everything, and I made sure she had everything, all the doctor appointment and everything. I was seeing that she going to see a doctor appointment and everything. And they just act like they don't want to do nothing. So I just, y'all go ahead, do what you're going to do. They stuck her at home and everything. That was she paid it at home. But her insurance and everything, all that was paid up. A grave site was paid up and everything, you know. So I didn't try to fight them or argue with them or nothing, you know. I said if I know all this was going to go home, I'll stay there in St. Louis, you know. So
How was St. Louis?
It was lovely, man. I stayed up there 48 years.
48 years.
Mm-hmm. 48 years. Oh, yeah, I want to burn my hand.
Just put it real quick.
Go back. Thought I had me a cold beer, so it might be much better. I'm just waiting till I get out of that place. So it's gonna be on. Go to look something about my own whiskey. Yeah, sit right down the front, put that thing. See, I was gonna say you might get that house fixed up right, you know. But then with Pookie, I couldn't do it.
Oh, no.
It just wasn't no help, you know, get up and try to help do that, you know. So I just got tired.
Why do you think Uncle Pookie be acting that way?
Because he's snorting that stuff. He on that stuff. He's slipping up his nose. What gonna take him away from him? Living that cocaine was never sit up his nose, and then get that. You tell when he high, he get to singing and acting, dancing and acting a fool around there, you know. Talking to himself and everything. Hey, look at him. He a nice old lady. That girl, she working 2 and 3 jobs. And because she wouldn't let him drive her car and everything, ride his nigga around with, he gonna go over there and try to put some sugar in her tank, which that was wrong. And that girl working 2 jobs. I forget them just like Diara. Wipe your hand clean, let him go. There's something out there gonna grab him, bite him in the head real bad. See, but no good. She been to him and everything.
Why do you think my mama Tiara turned out a little bit better than Uncle Pookie?
Because she was always nice. She went to college. My dad made sure she went to college and everything. Seen that she had what she wanted and everything, you know. Then she came out, she went to service, did her 20 years and everything, you know. They always had her and what you call him, Stephon. He was real nice and everything, you know. He did more riding up for what their daddy than Pookie would do, you know. So Stephon had working and had job, 2 cars and everything, you know. He kept a pocket full of money. But they talking about when I was there at home that night, when they come back and told me, talking about he had got killed. Talking about the girl down the street shot him, but them girl down there didn't do it. The dude named 100 owed him Stephon some money. Stephon, and they got to fighting. And they took he shot Stephon, killed him. Yep. I said, forget it. Y'all about ready to rock and roll?
As you all can see, the Allens family understands what it's like to deal with and overcome many of the disparities facing Black families and households across America. We want to thank the Allens family tonight for gracing us with their opinions and their stories on these disparities. We also want to say thank you to all of our viewers for watching What is Love. And finally, I have a question for you all. What is love to you? Good night. I'm your host, Diara, and I love you all.